Carol, thank you. That piece that Carol played was composed by Mykola Lysenko, who is known as the father of Ukrainian classical music. Lysenko was deeply concerned with raising the level of music education in his native Ukraine and founded the Ukrainian National School of Music. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We are delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Rebecca Senaway, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you are a newcomer or a visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive our weekly email newsletter and learn more about our congregation. If you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out to make sure that you are warmly welcomed. If you are joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a warm welcome to you as well. For everyone here in person, a gentle reminder to please silence your electronic devices. Today's service is titled, Put Love at the Center. In this service, Sunnyhill member and former board president, Josh Broaded, will explore Unitarian Universalist values and the role that love plays in drawing together different people and ideas. Our opening words were written by Monica Jacobson Tennyson. What is it that calls you here, that calls you onward, that calls you inward, that leads you homeward? What is it that gives you the power to make that change, to ask that question, to take that journey? What is it that says you have done well, that asks you to learn more, that brings you to stillness, that holds you up in hard times? It is relationship, the beating heart of our faith. It begins when we share this hour, our truths, this air, our hearts. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessings of the love we need, the love we give, the love we are challenged always to remember and share.
Good morning. Please rise and bow to your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place.
seated.
Good morning. If there are any kiddos present that want to come up for our time for all ages, now's your chance. Come on up. Good morning. Take a seat. I'm going to be standing today, though. Come on. Are you Massimo? Nice to meet you, Massimo. All righty. Good morning, friends. We have a special visitor up here. Does anybody know what this is? Have you seen this before? Yes. What is this thing? The Wonder Box. That's right. Great job. It's our Wonder Box. And today it's filled with some pretty amazing ideas that people are starting to wonder about. It says something in big, bold letters. Can anybody read that for me?
Article.
Article? That's right. It says article. And those two lines, anybody know what those mean? That's right. Article 2. Great job. That's an interesting name. And maybe that's why there's so much wondering about. There's so much in our Wonder Box. I could really use some help. I wonder if there's anyone here that can help me. Actually, I have someone right over here.
I would love to help you. Oh wait, did you notice what is on the other side of the box? It looks like the box has more than just Article 2 inside of it. One side has our 7 UU principles, the other side has a list. It says Jewish and Christian teaching, prophetic words, humanist teachings. Oh, these are the inspiration and sources of our Unitarian Universalist faith. The last side says the purpose of Unitarian Universalism.
This must be a very important box. I can see here in the fine print, there are instructions that says something about see the UUA bylaws. Could this box contain the part of our UUA rules that help govern our association of UU churches around the world? Oh yes, Article 2 is the part of those rules that has our UU principles, purposes, and sources. This is a very important box. Look, there's a plant in here. Probably not the best place for a living thing. Stuck in some box for a long time and not cared for? Plants need tending. I wonder why there's a plant in this bylaw box.
I think I know. It's because we are a living tradition, just like this plant.
That's why the gray hymnals are called Singing the Living Tradition. Look, there's something stuck to the plant. It's a list of questions. Good questions for wondering. It says, why do we exist? What do we value? And where do we come from? Great wondering questions in our Wonder Box. We are a living tradition because UUs keep returning to these questions. Many times over the last 200 years, UUs have come together as a people to talk and disagree and compromise and through relationship make meaning together. In fact, we've done this so many times, usually once in a generation, that we made a rule that we have to do it at least every 15 years. But as of today, it's been 30 years since the last time we updated our faith's shared covenant, values, and inspirations.
I see a lot of rough drafts here. I see the original principles from 1961 in here. That one is where all the language refers to only the dignity of man and leaves out all the other genders. Thank goodness we changed that.
I know why that's in there. 10 years ago, some smart Unitarian Universalists of color said we should add anti-racism and anti-oppression to our UU values. and they began organizing to add an 8th principle to our 7 sources, so we could finally name being anti-racist as a UU value. Sunnyhill just adopted that principle a few months ago, and that's why there's a Black Lives Matter flag in there. The whole process of adopting the 8th principle helped us as Unitarian Universalists remember that we need to have another faith-wide conversation, asking, why do we exist? What do we value? And where do we come from? It has been 30 years since we've had these conversations, and we've learned so much. We want our Unitarian Universalist faith to reflect all the wisdom we have gained. To help us get there, over the last few years, leaders at the national level have been holding conversations, asking UUs all over the country those questions. Now, the leaders working on this have taken all those conversations and worked to create a new statement about why we exist as a faith. What matters to us most, and where do we come from? Jack, can you look? It should be in there somewhere. Can anyone guess what this document is called? Article 2. That's right. Jack, is Article 2 in there?
It's here. It's hard to reach past all these love hearts. Woo, here it is.
The Article 2 study report says that we exist because of love. It says, the purpose of the Unitarian Universalist Association is to actively engage its members in the transformation of the world through liberating love. It says that love is the power that holds us all together and is at the center of our shared values. What do you think about that? Is love what holds us together?
I love it. The word love is a part of our statement of faith. I must tell you, though, the 7 principles are not perfect, but they do have some fine ideas and words in them. I'm all about changing as we learn and grow, but do we have to give up all our principles?
The way we name them and explain them is changing. Their words are different, and the seeds of each of the principles we learn in RE and here in the sanctuary are still inside the new words. The one that talks about honoring the interdependent web of existence is first now. We start with the web. The one that talks about how every person has inherent worth and dignity now talks about each person being able to flourish in that worthiness and how we will work together to make that flourishing possible.
And love is at the center of it all.
Yes, love is at the center of it all. I think there are 2 things left in that box.
A watch and a ballot.
How'd my watch get in there? I know what that's all about. That is the Article 2 study report, which was shared by the UUA board, and the clock is ticking to get to showcase how we use our democratic process. This Article 2 draft now goes to the 2023 General Assembly, the natural gathering where UUs all over the country gather to make democratic decisions together for a vote. And I think that's happening really soon and really close by. That's actually happening this week right here in Pittsburgh. There will be opportunities at General Assembly to give input and feedback and debate. People will do the things we've always done. Come together and discuss and feel passionately and disagree and compromise and make things better together. And then we'll vote. And this is such a big deal, and we want so many people to be involved as possible that we'll get to vote on it again next year at General Assembly 2024.
Yes, and Sunnyhill has 7 delegates that will be representing Sunnyhill as they cast their ballots.
Thanks, Jack. This Article 2 wondering box feels much lighter now, especially since most of this process is infused with love. And with that, we will head to our RE classes. Everyone downstairs.
As you go, may
Again, good morning and welcome. My name is Joe Barker, and I'm a member of Sunnyhill's pastoral care team. Our mission is to reach out to members of the congregation who are going through challenging or significant life events, whatever they may be. It's our personal connections with each other that offers a kind of loving presence, and that presence is what binds our Sunnyhill community. The pastoral care team is here for you. If you'd like to know more, please seek me out after the service in the fellowship hall. Each week at this time, we share joys and sorrows submitted by the members of the congregation. Joys and sorrows may be submitted online from our website, sunnyhill.org, or by filling out a paper form in the fellowship hall at the table on the right as you enter. After each joy or sorrow I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." We have a joy from the Mannion family. We had Marlowe's 6-month follow-up from his brain surgery on Tuesday. The MRI shows everything is stable and healing. Next up for us, Disneyland. We hold you in our hearts. We have a joy from Shelley and VJ Shandok. We will be celebrating our 65th wedding anniversary on June 22nd. Where did the time go? We hold you in our hearts. We have a sorrow from Nina Balsamo. My mother, Kay Diedisch, fell and fractured a vertebrae in her neck. She is currently in the skilled nursing facility at Asbury Heights. She is not yet in a condition for visitors. To Nina and her mother, we hold you in our hearts. We have a joy from Carol Carl. I have just learned about my 3rd great-granddaughter, Fannin Rose Hiladchik. Delightful news at 7 pounds, 2 ounces. To Carol and her family, we hold you in our hearts. As we sing and listen to our musical meditation this morning, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seat.
There is a love
one more time, holding us. There is love holding us. There is love holding all that we love. There is love holding all. We rest in this love.
Good morning. I'd like to share with you this morning a guided meditation that I adapted from one that was prepared by Ram Dass. This is a little longer than some of the guided meditations that we often have at Sunnyhill. I hope you like it. If you don't worry. It's only about 5 minutes long, but I hope you enjoy it. Let's begin by sitting comfortably. Feel the floor under your feet. Feel your body in the chair. You can close your eyes and let the muscles of your face relax. Your breathing can be soft and gentle. Imagine that you are breathing in a golden light. Fill yourself with it. Let it pour through your entire body. Each time you breathe out, make room for that light by breathing out all of the things that keep you from knowing your true self. Breathe out any feelings of separateness, or anger, or doubt, or confusion, and bring in and breathe in the energy of the universe. Remember, you are an inseparable part of that universe. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. Now focus your attention on that soft golden light within you. Notice its calm. As you meditate upon it, experience the deep peace emanating from that light. Let the light sit quietly, perfectly poised in your heart. This place within you is a place of compassion and love. Now slowly, let this light grow until it fills your body. Let this light fill you with tranquility. Let your awareness grow beyond your body and bring the golden light with you. Let your awareness grow until it encompasses this room around you. All of the sounds, all of the sensory experiences lie within your awareness. Let your awareness grow further. Expand until your community, your environment, and all of those beings within them are contained in you. Feel your vastness, your peace, your equanimity. Notice the human condition. See the turmoil and the longing, the joy and the caring, sadness and fear and love. See it all. Hold it within you. See it with compassion and with caring, and at the same moment with peace and equanimity. Feel the light pour through your being and through all of the people within your community. Now, very gently, very slowly, begin to come back down to size until your awareness fills this room once more. Become aware of yourself sitting among the other members of this congregation, and pause here for a moment. Take the love and the compassion that you held for your community, and let those feelings come to you. See yourself on your own life journey, your fears, your doubts, your connections, your strengths, your joys. See how close you are to knowing your true self. Now bring your attention back down into your body. You are still filled with a golden, tranquil light. You remain a being of compassion and wisdom. Feel the love pouring out of you. As we close with 3 deep breaths, in and out, bring the golden light to the center of your chest. It is there whenever you need it. It feels like home. Give yourself these 3 deep breaths to help you remember the way back home. All right, thank you for going on that little journey with me. Next, I'd like to invite you to listen to some special music from Finn Thornton. Finn will be performing Lady Allison's Minuet, which was composed by Robert D. Vandal. All right. Good morning. I'm really happy to be here. And I don't just mean here, I mean here at Sunnyhill. I love this church. I really do. And that's not something that you hear people say all that often. I love my church. How often, when you're out and about on any given day, do you hear somebody say, "My church is really important to me"? It happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen a lot. Sometimes after being at this church, I have a better understanding of how I need to relate to someone else in my life. Sometimes after being at this church, I have a better understanding of how I need to relate to myself. Sometimes at this church, after I leave, the raindrops cast a different light on the leaves. Sometimes the world seems bigger, And sometimes the world seems deeper, and those are two different things. I hope sometimes you feel the same way. And I hope that the ways that this church makes you feel aren't just for an hour on Sunday. I hope that you carry the spiritual work that we do here with you out into the world, and that you bring the joy and the energy and the presence and love along with you wherever you go. Today, I want to talk about our values, and I want to talk about how we talk about those values out in the world. Every once in a while, people ask me about Sunnyhill, and I've thought a lot about how to respond. I want to give you some tips. If anybody ever asks you about your church, and your answer starts with where we land on the Wesleyan quadrilateral, you've probably lost them. It's over. If you tell them that we are a non-creedal religion and you don't have to believe in any one particular thing to be a UU, you've probably lost them. And if you tell people that you'd like to share with them some poems about geese, you've probably lost them. They're going to call you a hippie and walk away. And by the way, I love poems about geese. It's just, that's next level UU. You got to be here for that. You're not ready for poems about geese until you've come a few times and you've had a class with Bethany and Reverend Jim. So the question is, how do you talk to a person who wants to know a little bit more about our church? And the most natural place to start is with the 7 principles. And the 7 principles are really good. I like the 7 principles. We all, and everyone we meet, has inherent worth and dignity. And knowing that, we work towards justice and equity and compassion. We accept one another as we are. And we encourage and support spiritual growth and exploration, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. We value democracy, inclusion, and we work as a group towards peace and liberty and justice. And we recognize that we are part of an interdependent web of existence. The 8th proposed principle, which our congregation adopted, is a recognition that racism was built, and it needs to be unbuilt. It was built deliberately for hundreds of years. Its legacy diminishes us, and it needs to be unbuilt deliberately. This church and this congregation is playing a role in that work. And so you can think about these principles through some lenses, a couple of different lenses, to see if they are right and true for you. The first lens is whether these principles align with your moral compass. Do they give structure and clarity to the things that you know to be true in your heart? And the second lens is if many other people adopted these principles and lived by them, would the world become a place where you would more want to live? Do these principles guide us towards a society that honors the human experience? I think that they do. And so I think that these principles will remain a part of who we are as Unitarian Universalists. But even these 8 principles are too much for most people in their first conversation about Sunnyhill. We sort of need a fun-sized Snickers bar of Unitarian Universalism. Something that is delicious and also true. It needs to give you a sense of what a real Snickers bar would be like if you only had one, but it needs to be bite-sized and leave you wanting more. So what is that? What is our theological, fun-sized Snickers bar? It's love. Love. Love is the thread that runs through all 8 of our principles. Love for ourselves, love for our neighbors, love when you are reminded that everyone is your neighbor, love for the world and for the other beings that we share it with. It's love. And when somebody asks me about Sunnyhill, what I tell them is that love is at the heart of this church. It is our deepest value. And we talk at church about how we can carry love into the world. The Unitarian Universalist Association has been thinking a lot about how we organize the principles that draw us together. As Jen shared, this coming week, the UUA will be hosting its annual General Assembly in Pittsburgh. And one of the key items on the agenda is the proposed amendment to our Article 2 bylaws. That's the part of our bylaws that currently contains the 7 principles. The proposed reframing that is up for discussion and consideration puts love at the center, surrounded by 6 ways in which love manifests. The UUA's Article 2 Study Commission thought about our values in this way. First, love is at the center. And this is what they wrote in their commission report. They said, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. And then surrounding this core value are 6 inseparable ways in which we manifest love. First, I'll talk about interdependence. The UUA Study Commission said that we honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish Earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. To me, this is an expression of love for the world and for all of creation. Next, they described justice. They said, we work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where we all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions. And equity. They said, we declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accountable and inclusive communities. Justice and equity are 2 ways that we extend our love to all people, an expression of the value that we place in fairness and human rights. Next, they describe generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Generosity is one of the ways that we can express our love through action. And then pluralism. They said, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. To me, this is an expression of the love that we cultivate for the things that make us different and allow us to be better teachers and caretakers for one another. And finally, transformation. We adapt to a changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. When I think about the kind of transformation that can come through love, I think about the potential to profoundly transform the human experience, our human experience. Perhaps you felt some of that today during our guided meditation. When you expand your love to the world and to the people within it, it changes you. It might be a daily practice where your love and compassion get bigger little by little. It might be something that comes like a lightning flash. This kind of love is what the Greeks call agape. The way that you feel when you realize, or perhaps better said, when you remember that we are all souls having a human experience, and that we have a nearly unbounded capability to give and receive compassion and connection. Perhaps you are a being who spends minutes or hours or days just steeped in loving awareness. Perhaps it comes to you only in moments. Maybe it's something that you haven't experienced. But love, unbounded and complete, can change your entire life. I don't know how the General Assembly will decide about Article 2. It's likely that the 7 principles have been an important part of your own experience as a Unitarian Universalist. They certainly have been for me. It's also true, at least for me, that the proposed statement of values, with love as its center, provides an easy way for us to talk about our faith to others. It unifies the ways that we think about our own Unitarian Universalist experience, with love at the center of a many-spoked wheel. Whatever is decided at General Assembly this coming week, I am grateful for the framing that the Article 2 Commission has prepared. It gives us a clear and elegant way to think about and talk about the values that are central to our religion. My hope and my prayer is that your life is one that is full of love. And this hope and prayer comes in 3 parts. First, that you feel love here. May your experiences here at Sunnyhill be full of love. Second, that the things that we talk about and the things that we do here at Sunnyhill open your heart to love in your life. May you find yourself grinning on a random Tuesday afternoon because of the good things that you planted in your heart right here on Sunday morning. May you find yourself treating people and the world around you gently because of your experiences here. And third, that this way of talking about our values, this fun-sized Snickers bar of love, means that you can share what we have here with somebody in your life who needs it. Because the amazing thing about Sunnyhill is that if you give a little Sunnyhill to somebody else, there isn't less Sunnyhill left for you. The love that we practice here is one of those rare things in life where the more that you give, the more that you have. This is my hope and prayer. Amen.
Please rise and bow to your spirit to join in singing Love Will Guide Us.
What you can give.
Thank you. Please be seated.
It is time for our morning offering. Wyatt will be playing Deep River, a song categorized as a traditional African American spiritual, which means that it was one of many songs originally composed by African people enslaved in America, passed on through oral traditions, and eventually recorded and popularized through those recordings. When we include African American spirituals in our Sunday morning worship, we do so with the acknowledgement of the song's history. This is especially apt as tomorrow marks the official observation of Juneteenth, a holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans roughly 2.5 years following the Emancipation Proclamation. We don't have a designated offering this morning, so our collection will benefit Sunnyhill and help defray our operating expenses. If you'd like to make a gift via our online giving system, you can do so by going to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Online Giving, and then follow the instructions. Or you can give by text at 412-324-3130. For those of you who are here with us in person, we'll be passing our offering baskets in just a moment. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity, and thank you, Wyatt. Please join me in saying the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Until we are together again. I have one quick announcement before our closing words. Next Sunday, June 25th, there will be no service here in person at Sunnyhill. Instead, you are invited to attend the General Assembly Sunday morning worship, which will take place downtown at the Convention Center at 11 a.m. More information will be in the beat, so please check that for the details.
All right, and I have one quick announcement as well. So not next week, but in future weeks, it is wonderful to gather after service and have coffee and conversation. And Donna is in the back. Donna, can you wave to everybody? Donna is, yes. Donna makes it happen. Donna makes it possible for us to come together for coffee and conversation. But Donna needs some help. And if you've been thinking about a way that you could help Sunnyhill that is a fairly low commitment, coffee and conversation is a great way to do that. You need to come about 45 minutes before service begins. You need to stay for about an hour after service, but it's a one-time commitment. So if there was a weekend where you might be able to spend a couple of extra hours at Sunnyhill and help to make coffee and conversation happen, Donna would surely appreciate it. The good news is there are helpers who will be around and can guide you. Donna has an amazing set of instructions, so it's fairly straightforward and easy. But we really do need a few people to step up and say that they'll help us with coffee and conversation so we can all gather after service. Okay. Well, yes. And there's a sign-up board out in the lobby. So if you do have a weekend where you could spend a few extra hours at church, please do add your name, and we would love to include you as part of Coffee and Conversation. All right, for the closing words, I'd like to share a poem called My Symphony. It was written by William Henry Channing, who's the nephew of William Ellery Channing. This is my symphony. To live content with small means, to seek elegance rather than luxury, and refinement rather than fashion, to be worthy, not respectable, and healthy, not rich, to study hard, think quietly, talk gently, to listen to stars and birds, to babes and sages with open heart, to bear all cheerfully, do all bravely, await occasion, and hurry never. In a word, to let the spiritual, unbidden and unconscious, grow up through the common. This is to be my symphony. Go in peace.